Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And I'll be reading the final chapter and the final part of the Peace book by my Guru, His Eminence the 25th Samtuku Rinpoche. And this is the book, Peace, a compilation of short teachings by Sam Rinpoche. So this is the last part 7. Peace and the Ultimate Reward. And it's on chapter 28, which is also the last chapter of the book. Divinity, developing the spiritual heart. When we suppress our divinity, it is us saying, it doesn't matter how you feel, it is important how I feel. I don't care about you. So the chapter will be on that, and it is page 204. And before that, I will go to a picture to share with you while I'm doing my reading. And this is the picture. So we are on part 7, chapter 28, page 204. To pray is to become divine. Some religions concentrate on the tradition of making images, tankas, paintings, statues, and representations of the enlightened beings. These practices date back thousands of years and give a lot of people courage and inspiration. Some faiths do not accept any type of holy image. Whichever religious method or practice we choose, they are all valid because they accommodate the needs of different people. Some people prefer to concentrate on something very powerful and abstract, and they have the ability to do that. Some people would prefer to concentrate on something powerful and non-abstract, something tangible. The bottom line is to hook up to and make a connection to something that is above the ordinary, beyond us, divine. It is us trying to hook up with the divine and trying to awaken some of that divinity within us. Whether you pray to an intangible, all-powerful force, or you pray to or solicit something that is tangible, that has a structure, form, and symbolism. The purpose of both is to become divine and to become closer to divinity. To pray actually is to become divine. So, if we sit and fold our hands and we pray to an all-powerful being, the point of the prayer is to become divine. Becoming divine is not about being able to manifest food where there is no food and raising the dead. It is about the divinity of human qualities that improve with time. We should look at and examine ourselves. If we have been praying, making offerings, and reciting mantras, but we do not see anything divine happening in us, we might question if the divine really exists. And if there is divinity in us to be tapped, or if we are doing something wrong. Or is it that there is divinity to be tapped and something divine to propitiate, but we are not running the extra mile to achieve it? Throughout time, people have had the mistaken view that if they pray or participate in outward rituals, such as bathing the Buddha, making offerings to an holy object, chanting, meditating, or helping a church or a temple, that is divine. However, what I would like to reiterate is that although you are making offerings to the divine in the hopes of becoming closer to the divine, that is not what divinity is looking for. You will not see much difference in the people who only do those outward acts, even after 10, 20, or 30 years of doing them. There are people who have been in Dharma for quite a long time and claim to be Buddhists, but you see very little transformation or no change at all in them. In fact, Some people degenerate. They go downwards. Is it because the divine does not exist? Is it because we do not have any divinity? It cannot be, because it is a human quality to have divinity. Here is a clear, logical way to check if you have divinity within you. If you hear the plight of someone in huge difficulty, such as people living in war-torn countries, or if you hear of people being killed, children being killed, or sold into slavery and prostitution, pregnant mothers getting sliced, and women being raped, how do you feel? Do you cringe? Do you feel uncomfortable? Do you think, oh my God, what can I do? How you feel shows that you do feel. When you feel, it shows that you have divinity within you. How much you feel is how much divinity you have. What you do upon hearing these things shows how much you put your divinity into action. If you do not do anything, such as making a devotion or prayer, offering incense, or sending donations, you can see your divinity is there but dormant. It is not active. Self-gratification. We will go all the way if it is something for ourselves. For our self-gratification, body, speech, and mind gratification, we will go all the way. We will exhaust ourselves. We can stay up for hours and hours, and we can continue to do it year after year after year. However, in the end, no matter how much we chase to gratify ourselves, we will come to a rest, look back and say, but I'm not gratified. Whatever I've put my energy towards has all blown away in the wind. For all the effort we put in, we feel even more depressed because there has been no result. We may not get the result that we want, but we will spend all our time, energy, and knowledge on trying to achieve it. All of us are good at some things that others are not. This is because we have put time towards these things, because we feel that doing it will gratify and bring us happiness. In fact, the more we do it, the more it takes us away. We need to realize that, not as a scolding or put down, or because we are bad, but as a realization. We might pursue self-gratifying pursuits and ignore everything else that is considered holy to our culture. I'm not just talking about Buddhism. In some cultures, it is parental care. In other cultures, it's doing community work or meditation. When we self-gratify at the expense of whatever is important in our culture and society, or if we self-gratify at the expense of whatever we are supposed to do, that is where we suppress the divinity within us. That is where the divine diminishes. If we have ignorance or pride, and we don't want to share, we don't want to go under it and learn, we are suppressing our divinity. It is divine to learn. It is divine to improve. But if our ego, our shame, or our reputation gets caught, then we are suppressing the divine. Divinity or the divine cannot be damaged in any way. Yet, when we go after self-gratification, year after year after year, at the expense of the development and discovery of our divinity, it is not good. For example, we might write into love columns or personal ads and receive a lot of response. 40 people write back wanting to have sex with us, and we feel happy because of that. But this type of happiness doesn't bring us real happiness. After meeting those 40 people, we think, is it all I'm worth? That's it? Instead, we become more unhappy. We can spend a lot of time writing letters and checking newspapers. We spend hours looking, but nothing happens. That takes away from the divine because it is only self-gratification at the expense of everything else. Self-gratification is not bad. It depends on the amount we pursue and the results we gain from pursuing it. Some of us some of our self-gratification can have beneficial results. For example, someone might be extremely interested in art. He loves to paint and has spent the last 10 years locked up in his room eating one piece of bread a day and painting, at the expense of his health and friends. He doesn't have anything else. Then suddenly, he might connect with an organization that asks him to paint for them. His painting might become a huge success and raise a lot of money for a good cause, such as research for curing cancer. That is wonderful. But if we are stuck on the self-gratifying activity and we do it just for ourselves, it will take time away from everything and anything that is important. It is not just Dharma, and I'm not just talking about going to the Dharma center. People in every people in every country around the world have their own idea of what is important, and individually, everyone has his or perception of everyone has his idea or perception of what should be done. In Tibetan culture, it is to work part-time for the Dharma, to sincerely donate time and energy to causes related to the Dharma, so that our gurus, the temple, and the Dharma can spread with less hindrance and fewer problems. You don't burden them, but you help by taking away the burden. In Chinese society, it might be filial devotion to take care of your parents, but you don't go all the way for the wrong purpose. You don't sit there for the rest of your life and not do anything else because you're taking care of your parents. You do it with logic. Everyone has his own culture, and no one can say one is good or bad, because the bottom line is whether we are focusing on what is important or focusing on ourselves. That is the bottom line. That is why there is no argument about what is important in different cultures and in our minds for bringing out our divinity. All these methods are just vehicles for bringing out our divinity. It is not the actual action. In ancient societies and old cultures like the Tibetan, Indian, Japanese, or Chinese cultures, our promise and word of honor, our samaya or samaya, is extremely important. It makes us human or not. It makes us honorable or not. Whatever and whomever we are committed to, whether our guru is big or small, we must remember what we have promised and do it. That is very precious. If you were to break your promise in ancient Japanese society, you cut your finger off. It is as simple as that. They don't make you do it, but you have to give something back. That there is retribution, and it shows who you are. It is very bad when we lose this honor or this statement of who we are because we are suppressing our divinity. It is us saying, it doesn't matter how you feel, it is important how I feel. I don't care about you. That is the unspoken message we are giving when we don't do what we are supposed to do, whatever society we are in. People who live like this go further and further down. As the years advance, their reputation, their happiness, what they want and what they pursue will go down, 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 because they are only going after things that suppress the divine, Buddha nature, God, paradise, heaven, or whatever we want to label it. Finding divinity. Whatever society we are in, it is all about the same thing, finding the divinity within us. A lot of us have wasted so much time suppressing that divinity in our self-afflicted world of pain, loneliness, and unhappiness within the borders and barriers we set up. We are so stuck on just us. When you self-gratify, you will burden people with your words, explanations, and smiling face. You might be able to get by with your smiling face, but it is just a facade. It will end, As time goes by, people will recognize your true nature, who you are and how you are. When they recognize who you are and how you are, and you realize that they have recognized that, you will start to suffer. When you start to suffer, you can do two things. You can climb out of that suffering and do better, or you can go deeper into it and hide, run away from it, escape, not face it, and not improve. If you do the latter, it is only a temporary measure, and unfortunately, with all the technology of today, email, communication, and telephones, you cannot hide. Now there are webcams everywhere. There are nasty people who like to gossip and who are watching us and reporting on us. Anyway, people are intelligent and educated. They can observe you and surmise what is going on, no matter what your explanations are. There is the ancient proverb of action speaking louder than words. Divinity is finding out that you have reached this stage of suppressing the divine and you're doing something about it. You go against it and you fight the tide. It is very difficult, it is hard, and you may want to give up, but it is easier than running. When you run, you only escape from everyone else, but not from yourself. Wherever you go, who you are will manifest. Your reputation will follow, your habits will follow, and how you are will follow. There is no way to escape. It is not about whether you practice Buddhism deeply, and it is not about whether you do meditations and mantras. If you have a sick father and you don't even go to see him, you are suppressing the divine. If you do not serve your sick father in any way, you are suppressing the divine. In your culture, that may be how you manifest your divinity. You should use that as a vehicle to manifest the divine. What is divine? Something which is divine is all-encompassing. It is harmony. It is making another feel good. It is us feeling good as a result of making another being feel good and relieving him of his suffering. It is divine to be alert and awake, especially to people's needs. When we give people whatever they need or want, when we do whatever we can do to help and relieve them of their suffering, and when we are aware, that is divine. The divine is improvements within ourselves, opening up, developing more awareness, and relieving others of their suffering. And as the years goes by, we will see ourselves opening up, not running away, not hiding, not getting deeper into our self-gratifications, and having everything else thrown to the wind. And with that, the book ends with this chapter. And as you have heard, the divinity is within us. It's whether it is dormant or not, and how we exercise ourselves, our minds, to bring out this divinity within ourselves. It is the caring that we actually put into actions for others and to make others happier. And with that, we will be much happier ourselves. So it would be very good actually to actually get a book, Peace, a compilation of short teachings by Sam Rinpoche. And he has taught us a lot of methods that we can use to find the peace within ourselves. And it doesn't have to be religious, because it's basically something that we live with every day and we can't run away from, because it's us. So even you think that you can run away, you're still you, and then eventually the situation around you will still be created by yourself, with what you have and what you are. So it's good that we look within, discover ourselves, and try to overcome what is negative. And with that, I'll end the session. And thank you for sharing your time with me. And I'll end it with a completion dedication in Tibetan. Changjub Senjo Rinpoche, Make Panam Geyushi, Ke Panam Pame Payang, Gone Gondu Pewashu, Toni Toa Rinpoche, Make Panam Geyushi, Ke Panam Pame Payang, Gone Gondu Pewashu, Daso Jini Sapangiwadi, Tadandro Daso jenis apagewadi tadandroa guna gapadang jepa jesu no sentrapai tamping imporin desa se kewa kuntu yanda lamadan drame joki pala lo jojing sadam langi yote razone doje changi ngopanga tusu gewadi yududa lama sangyo driyone droa chika malupa de sala gopasho joki kya posunga pa josu nampa pewala keki sama siwada tungi malu sangwasho dadam sangi dosundan drewa sangi latini kewa lo sentrapai tampayu riva gyushi ni modele sendele ni mingunyan deleshi ni sintatu dele pel kunchu sungi jingilo kunchu sungi ngotroso kunchu sungi trasi sho jesu nama kusen rapting ching nam katrini chochu ke padang lo samte pedro me sap sungi tro e munsa tatu ni gyushi Gangwei rawe ko we shin kam dem pendan dewa malu gyo ne charan sit one ten sing get so yi shape shiri baru den gyushi Hồng Tung Bình Ngô Trù Mà Lù Bà Đến Đến Đá La Sèo Đù Sô Có Đàn Đến Bà Lòng Chọt Nam Kế Bà Sô Shik Shuk Tân Sèo. As I was reading it, all this runs through my mind and it's like, wow, I'm that too. I need to overcome all, what Rinpoche taught. I have to apply it myself too. So I do hope that you'll join me in applying it. Thank you again, and I'll start another book which is Guru for Hire. And that will be very interesting. And hope that you'll join me. Thank you.